Giza, the Trinity, the Beast, the Great Pyramid, that gash on the southern side was not the opening. In the 1830s, with some barrels of gunpowder, they blew in a tunnel. They were looking for something. At the end of each day, the sun god Ra would enter the Duat on the boat of 1,000,000 years to battle Apep, the god of chaos and disorder. Then return the next morning. When people hear the pyramids, they think of Giza. Most people know of the Sphinx, and most people know of the Great Pyramid, the big one. By the end of this video, you should have a good general understanding of the layout of the internals of the Pyramid of Khufu, or Cheops. And there you can see the real entrance to the Great Pyramid. The pyramids of Giza were constructed between 2600 and 2500 BC. That's about 4,500 years ago. The Great Pyramid of Giza is unique not just because it is the largest pyramid in Egypt. Unlike other pyramids, its passages rise high above ground level to chambers. The pyramids are on 3 different levels. The Pyramid of Menkaure on the left is on the highest level, and the Great Pyramid is on the lowest level. There's about 11 meters difference, or 33 feet. The Sphinx is about the same level as the subterranean chamber of the Great Pyramid. Now, it looks like Khafre has 2 entries. There's theories that there was a design change. The pyramid was supposed to be larger. There's a photo to give you an idea of scale. The entries are 99% of the time on the northern side for all pyramids. There are exceptions. That's the descending passage. That's the ascending passage. That's the Grand Gallery. That's the Queen's Passage. Now, queens, kings, they're misnomers. There were no queens or no kings found. The well shaft starts at the bottom of the Grand Gallery and goes down and joins up with the descending passage. About a third of the way down there is a small cave or a grotto, and you can see the brickwork there, which is part of the shaft. Subterranean chamber. Now, the pyramid is built on top of a mound. I don't think there are any accurate measurements of the mound, but we know there's a mound there because where the passages enter the mound, the walls change. And you can see the shaft comes straight down vertically. That was constructed. And where it joins the mound from then on is a tunnel. Queen's Chamber, again, there was no queen in there, but the names have stuck. Same with the King's Chamber. And there's a sarcophagus. Now the air shafts or the star shafts, no one's entirely sure why they're there. I've got my own theories. The King's Chamber shafts exit the pyramid and enter the King's Chamber. So in theory a bird or a bat could come in and out. The Queen's Chamber shafts are different. They're very mysterious. They do not exit the pyramid. They do not enter the Queen's Chamber. They were discovered by tapping on the wall and hopefully finding them, and in fact they did. Okay, let's have a look at an isometric drawing now. These are the chevrons. I'm putting them in here because some people don't know what they are. It took me a while to find out what chevrons are. There's the passage, the entrance, the original entry, descending passage. You can see above John Edgar there's some granite plug stones. Al-Mamun dug a tunnel from the outside of the pyramid to go above them. There's the outside of the pyramid. You can see Al-Mamun's tunnel and the chevrons. Now we'll be looking at the Queen's Chamber using a good photo. You can see there's a passage that comes out the back of the niche. John Edgar there sitting inside the niche. Now, out the back of the niche, there's another passage that was constructed, and again in the 1830s, someone crawled through in there. I think it was Weiss or one of his workmen, and they dug a tunnel. That uneven section there is what they dug. Apparently, they didn't find anything and they stopped. Now we're going to have a look at a photo of the step. The Queen's Passage comes along and then drops down for some reason. You can see the step there. Now we'll get one of the photos. And you can see the young man standing in front of the step there. Up to the King's Chamber. Now there's no sarcophagus in the model. I'll add one later. There you can see Mrs. Edgar in a beautiful dress. And now to get a sense of scale, I'll add the model. To her left there you can see the entry to the northern air shaft. That there is the entry to the King's Chamber. And in between the Grand Gallery and the King's Chamber, there is the antechamber. There's 3 granite doors that slide down. the northern air shaft veers around. It doesn't come out straight. And there's some theories that there is another large chamber next to the Grand Gallery. And I think they may be right. There's a photo of the front of the pyramid. You can see the chevrons and Al-Mamun's tunnel. I'm going to resize it to scale.
Stand up here. Stand up here. See in the water just over there? They're splashing around. There's dolphins. See bouncing up and down?
And there's the center line of the pyramid. The passages are offset. This happens to all the pyramids. None of them that I can recall are on the center line. They're always offset. There's the Great Step. It's at the top of the Grand Gallery. And you'll see why they call it the Great Step.
Lift her up, she might not be able to see. Go down there. See the black things in the water?
And there's John Edgar for scale. So, yep, it's a great step.
Are we watching the sunrise or the dolphin?
Either one.
There's the Grand Gallery. John Edgar's going up, and his assistant is there at the entry to the Queen's Passage.
I can't see the dolphins anymore.
At the bottom of the Grand Gallery, to the right-hand side,
They'll come back.
is the entry to the Well Passage, and it goes from the right-hand side of the Grand Gallery
They might.
all the way down to the grotto, and then all the way down to the descending passage where it connects again.
I never seen dolphins that close to the shore.
When you go surfing in sand, it makes and sometimes when we're down the coast, dolphins swim on the surface.
Under your surfboard.
You sit out the back and you're sitting there waiting for a wave under your board.
Now that photo is looking from the descending passage back into the well shaft,
When you see dolphins,
and there's a step. It's not level.
Dad. If you see a dolphin,
it usually means they're friendly.
Yeah.
They don't attack humans.
yeah, I was about to say.
Dolphins are your friends.
Yeah, I was about
And when they're around, you know that they'll protect you from sharks.
Yeah, because
Now we'll look at the subterranean passage, subterranean chamber. There's John Edgar sitting at the bottom of the descending passage where it turns horizontal.
the fish. They're only talking first.
I thought I was talking first.
You're gonna see it first. It's always coming up. See the big red in cloud over there? Really bright orange? That's the sun coming up.
Dad. Even the dolphins scared the fish becoming the sun, and then the humans
The next two photos, that one there with the man sitting, you can see that the entry to the chamber, just below it, they've dug away all the refuse. And John Edgar is standing there at the floor after all the refuse has been dug away. But they've dug away there to see how deep it goes.
The Waratahs.
Now, on the western end of the chamber is a little notch. You can see it there coloured in orange. And the young boy is looking into that notch. I'll just adjust this photograph so you can see the black hole he's looking into. That is actually the notch, that notch there.
You can see.
Now, this is looking at the southern wall of the subterranean passage, and there's a tunnel that goes off and finishes nowhere. There's a bit of a kink in there, and you can see the man standing next to the entry there. Now, on the eastern wall, we'll see it. You can see the boy coming out of the passage.
Why? You keep it on, you'll get cold.
And we're watching Al Mamun dig through to join up with the ascending passage. So there he is digging the tunnel. He knew where to go, and he came up above these granite plug stones. Where John Edgar is leaning against the stone there is where they dug the tunnel and joined up with the ascending passage.
Don't you get cold of it.
So there's the granite plug stones.
Real icy. It's coming.
So there to the right is the granite plug stone, and that's looking back into the tunnel. Now there's a photo of the wall of the antechamber. Those grooves are for ropes. They're for the granite doors that slid down. There's the antechamber.
Getting brighter. You can almost see the sun. The sun's
And there you can see the photo there.
now we just got it just in time.
So now we're going to be looking at the relieving chambers. Orange is stones. I've left them in there, but the grey bits in between the orange, they are the relieving chambers.
Wait.
There's the relieving chambers now, as they are.
Little dog.
Oh no! God, help me! Help me! Help me!
And again, if you look at the top chamber there, you can see John Edgar for scale.
Little darling.
And there we have the first rays of sun on the water.
Little darling.
Happy solstice sunrise.
Stop.
Stop it! Stop it!
It starts to let go up, then we can go order the coffee.
So now we'll have a look at detailed drawings of the shafts. There you can see the northern shafts, and you can see that the Queen's northern shaft is as well bent around, just like the King's northern shaft. And there's a plan view.
So first.
Now that blue line there is the well shaft, and the green line there is the Grand Gallery. So you can see that they're bent around and there could be something there. Now we'll have a look at the southern shafts. The only straight shaft is the Queen's southern shaft. The King's southern shaft has a slight kink in it, so it's not straight. Now we're looking at the Grand Gallery drawings of Jomard, the Frenchman who went with Napoleon to Egypt. And there you can see a man looking into the well shaft entry. And now we'll have a look at the top of the Grand Gallery, where you see men with ladders going up to the top of the Grand Gallery, where the man at the top is actually climbing into the tunnel that goes to the relieving chambers. And now a final overview of the photographs of John and Morton Edgar that we used in this video. Just an overview. See if you can recognize which ones they are and where they are. And of course a big thank you to Mrs. Edgar. This is the southern side of the Great Pyramid, where they used gunpowder that is not the opening. This is looking at the north faces of the pyramids of Giza. You can see the entrance there. And there's John Edgar standing next to a casing stone, and an Egyptian, a very good photo of an Egyptian standing there. So why did they build the pyramids? In this video I used photographs from the Great Pyramid Passages, Volume 1, 1910 edition. You can find it at Internet Archive. If you click on a single page and then open it in a new tab, it will usually, not always, but usually it will give you a high-res photo that you can download. Also, if you go to Wikipedia, there's a page of photographs, but they don't have captions. So, but the photos there at Wikipedia are very good, and I used them in today's video. Finally, I'll leave you with some photographs of Giza. Thank you for watching.